My name is Shelby Hofer, and I am primarily a performer, but my work crosses into writing and sometimes directing, and really the observational cultural content, and I've moved more into writing recently. So I'm from Atlanta, and my husband and I run an arts organization called PushPush Arts, and we've been doing that for the last 28 years. It's an art service organization. We are an incubator for artists creating experimental work in all disciplines. And so that takes up the lion's share of my time. We also have a child, and we also work like most artists do in the gig economy, and so we stay pretty busy. But for the last 3 decades, I have been serving artists in Atlanta and creating, sort of distinctive opportunities for people to stretch out and make new work. So that's been very fulfilling. In terms of my own inspiration, I'm largely inspired by musicians. Especially the poets and those that combine amazing musicianship with their poetry. I'm a big fan of alternative just about everything. I love Miranda July, and she's a female artist but I'm also a huge fan of Pee-wee Herman, and all that stuff goes into my work.
How do ideas usually start for you?
Mostly they've been brewing around in my brain and body since I was young. And it took me about 10 years. I wrote a full-length play about infertility, a very personal issue, but it actually was a comedy, if you can believe that, and how I solved the problem. And that had been brewing for about 10 years. And honestly, my son is 17 now, so even longer than that. In a lot of my writing these days, I lean into an alter ego, my 8-year-old self. I even have in this piece that I'm working on now, set of pigtails I put on just to orient everybody that it's probably going to be her leading the way. So a lot of this stuff comes from me trying to tap into my child self.
So I guess this kind of leans into that. What have you been working on while you've been here at Azule?
So I have a presentation. I was invited back to be kind of a keynote speaker to give an opening address to a cultural event that's happening in a small town in Florida, near the Georgia line, and this is a really unique event, and I really enjoyed speaking last year and was thrilled that they wanted to have me back, and it has become the piece I'm working on now is called On the Porch. And it's a second iteration or a second chapter or a second piece, if you will, from a kind of a continuation from last year, what I did, which was called In Defense of Y'all. I'm a Southern writer. I don't really fit the mold of a Southern belle like my mother did. And so these are stories of growing up in a small town in South Atlanta, and then where that took me after that, and really how storytelling starts when you're on the porch as a child, and learning to develop courage and get through life. And so this particular piece on the porch is what I'm working on now. It's about a 40-minute presentation, but like I said, my goal is for it to be a chapter, for lack of a better word, because I don't actually know the form that it will take, ultimately in a larger manuscript, probably at first of essays, but performable. Azule is amazing. I wish I'd known about it sooner. It just offers you the space and the time and the mindfulness to be able to listen to what yourself and what you're making. I mean, we all live very busy lives, so time slows down here a little bit, which is great. Plus, you're surrounded by all these, artful things that obviously Camille is amazing and such an inspiration, and the house is it's inspirational. And because it caters to all different types of artists, it helps you branch out. It helps you really look at what other people are doing and forget about yourself for a second, and then you're inspired to go back into it. Just about everywhere you go in this in this place, you can see something interesting and artful. So, and when I'm here, love to move around to different places to see which where, you know, a corner over there in the light, or outside by the old car, or, you know, even in the kitchen, the farm kitchen. It's all inspirational to me, and it's just helpful to be able to get away from your busy life and kind of think a little bit. If people were interested in finding out more about the work or following the work, most of what we do as artists is coming out of the programming at PushPush, which helps develop and push artists. So usually you can find it there, even though this is my own thing and kind of outside a little. You can't help but have the crossover and be influenced by what you've been doing for the last 3 decades. So a lot of that will be on the website. And the name of the event that I'll be presenting the work at is called Summit on the Circle in Defuniak Springs. And so I'm excited to be able to wrap up that piece this weekend and feel the sense of accomplishment that I knew I would feel by coming to Azule. So,
Well, I'll let you get back to work. Thank you for everything.
thanks.